Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to our study of the book Green Light by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. What a blessing to be with you here in the Spirit Society of Richmond in collaboration with Kardec Radio to spread the good news of the Christ far and wide. Today's chapter is titled Duty and Work. So André Luiz talked to us a little bit about leadership and following or managing, being a manager or being an employee, whichever way we want to take those terms, someone who is directing, orienting, and those who are following the work, at home, in the spiritual center. Today he's going to specifically tell us about our duties and work. And he says, quote, work commitment includes associating oneself to the work of a team in order to accomplish certain tasks or duties. So when we are at work, we are with a team. That team of folks have different abilities, different ways of saying things. They may be folks with which we've had experiences in the past lives, today we're together again to work on certain things, or they may be new people we never met before in this lifetime or other lifetimes. There's a myriad of possibilities. But he says, work commitments, or the commitment to work, includes associating ourselves with a team. So it's always the reminder that we are fulfilling the love society. None of us do anything on our own. Even when we are self-employed, we're working for someone, with others. We get supplies from one, we serve someone. There's just a beautiful way of putting ourselves in community and society, so on and so forth. He will say, dignified obedience means duty done or obligation fulfilled in our real lives. So when we are with a team, there are different roles. There's a leader, there's a manager, and then we, as we follow, we fulfill our duties. And then we are working together to grow, growing alone and growing as a team to do something that is meaningful to society, of course. He says, whoever fulfills small tasks happily and spontaneously is qualifying him or herself to bigger tasks. So when we are able to manage our time, our resources, we are able to be understanding and kind, as we saw last time, as a manager, as a director, as a leader. And then if we are, as followers and employees, we're able to see the need of the task and fulfill the task, then more tasks will be given to us. So the little things we do today will qualify us to be promoted to bigger tasks. There's an interesting point here he's going to make. He says, photography shows our external reality. When you take a picture of what the beautiful nature created by God around you. Whistle, our work shows our internal reality. So the things we gravitate towards, how we are feeling, how we're showing up in the world, how grateful I am to be able to work, my abilities, how grateful we are for one more day. Even when we don't have all faculties, we can still contribute. Photography shows the external reality, while work shows our internal reality. So how is your internal reality today? How are you showing up in the world? Have you been able to pray and meditate? Have you been able to be thankful for the opportunities we have? Are you tapping into the abilities and knowledge that you've built upon this life and many other lives so that you can truly see your work as a fulfillment of your duties? And remember, the law of work says that work is any useful activity. So if you don't have a formal job, it's still whatever you do the most. If being a caregiver to young ones or to old ones, or to be taking care of a household, that's still work. How do we show up on those ways shows how we feel inside. He says, quote, whoever mocks duties and work, which dignifies one's existence, is depreciating him or herself in the process. So when we mock certain work, work is work. If today you are unable to fulfill things or have the job you wanted or dreamed or prepared for, whatever work you're doing, as long as it's dignified and legal, and nowadays sometimes even legal doesn't mean dignified, that is moving forward society, that is using your abilities, is not demeaning anybody, who is not exploiting anybody. He says if we mock duties and work, we would be depreciating ourselves. We will also, I always have to think about the book For in Life. When we think, we feel, we're expressing that into the world, we're sending those thoughts into the universal cosmic fluid, and we're bringing back like-minded thoughts. So when we appreciate others, we'll attract appreciating thoughts and actions towards ourselves as well. Serving beyond one's duty is not to impress or to kiss up, but to gather support, cooperation, and experience. When we go one iota more, when we go a little bit farther than what our job duties are, we can show up in a greater way in the world. We are gathering support, cooperation, and experience. We are learning, we are growing. Others are seeing that we are able and willing to help one more. When we just go above and beyond for the sake of helping. When, for example, you are going somewhere but you stop to give directions with love and kindness. When we are moving from building A to building B and someone is lost halfway, one more. It's not in your job duties perhaps to give directions. You might say, oh, that's job of the information desk, but the person is right there in front of you. The need is there. We go above and beyond and we gather cooperation and support. Let's reverse it. It's a very simple example. You're somewhere, you're lost. How thankful you would be if someone stopped on their way and gave you directions. And that helps with mindfulness, with being present, with not being glued to these devices where they can rob our attention wherever we are. He says, when creating any work, it's necessary to be understanding in order to be understood. Let's dissect it out a little bit. So when we're creating a team, a project, a deliverable, what is the project charter? We can use this at home, we can use this at the Spirit Center and at work or in life in general. People come with different abilities. It's important to understand what they are, who they are, what they can do, to explain why we're doing it, and be understanding of the different levels of abilities we have in the team. Because nothing is worse than setting up a project and giving tasks to those who can't fulfill them, or think about a time when something was given to you that it was just so much that you couldn't possibly deliver what we still had to. And last but not least, he says, just as the worker transforms works into happiness, work also becomes the joy of the worker. So when we are going about our day, when we are fulfilling our duties in this world, when we are going to do something, let's say, for example, you work and you transform the work into happiness, then the work also becomes the joy of your day. Even if it's as simple as, say, you're a janitor or you're filling potholes on the street, you're taking care of the traffic lights, you're giving out, you're monitoring the parking tickets, simple things that we don't think of. If we transform that work into joy and happiness, then it becomes our joy. When you do what you're supposed to be doing in this world, what you chose as a profession, what you do when you volunteer, what you do in your free time with joy and thankfulness for the abilities that you have today, then doing that thing becomes the joy of your being. So we go above and beyond thinking just about enjoyment and satisfaction of the senses to seeing every single opportunity as an opportunity for service, Service brings joy. Service gathers support. When you're helping someone, when you go above and beyond, those spirits who are caring for that person can be your ally when you are in need. Because we remember we are in exchange. Sometimes I focus on what we do during our day because this is a very practical handbook. But we want to think about the other realm. We are being observed by the discarnate beings and by the incarnate beings. We are the portrait of our internal reality. When we show up, when we say we're spiritists, we are applying the teachings of the Christ. Go back to the book Jesus in the Home. Go back to the book Good News, where it shows to you clearly that Jesus was always serving, that he had joy when he interacted with people. It didn't matter how they looked, how they smelled, what they did, where they were, rich or poor. It was joyful to him. And how much work it may have been for him to reincarnate from a Christ spirit to reincarnate on the earth in the conditions of the earth 2,000 years ago. And today we're more able to understand his message and, most importantly, to apply the teachings to our daily lives. So go out there, fulfill the duties that you have, work hard, serve others, and be joyful. Dear friends, make sure to write a comment, a question. You can always write to us. You can always find us on the playlist. I've listed playlist of the book Green Light on the description for you to go and listen to all of the other chapters. Between now and the next time we meet, God willing, I'll be back with you next time. Between now and then, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Take care.